Hello, welcome to another bonus episode. I don't know how regularly we're going to do these, but as and when we come up with either ideas to do them, or we're a bit bored and we feel like doing a bit of an extra thing.
Or there's big music news.
And there is and there isn't at the moment, because there's nothing going on, but there is talking about the nothing going on. So today's sort of bonus episode, last time it was quite serious, and I think this time we're going to have a bit more fun with it. First thing we would just want to say, we sometimes say this in the podcast, but I just want to say it. Thank you to everybody listening. We've been having huge amounts of listeners, particularly from America, which seems to be growing every week, particularly a strong response to the Puff Daddy / P Diddy episode, which is surprising, which is why, by popular demand, Dave, do you want to hear some P Diddy facts?
I would love to hear some P Diddy facts.
And before I do that, I've just forgotten, because I introduced him in the last episode that won't be coming out for a month, we are joined today for our bonus episode by our good friend Sean. Do you want to say hi, Sean?
Hello, everyone.
These bonus episodes, it's funny, normally we record like months in advance, and one of the downsides was the most recent episode we talked about Captain Tom, and we don't think we made jokes about him, but we talked about him in kind of a dismissive way. That was about 6 weeks before the episode came out. Unfortunately, at time of recording, he has just passed of coronavirus, and that's not something we're not like horrible people. We don't want to be making jokes about that. And he did seem like a decent person. So rest in peace, Captain Tom. It's a shame. It's a horrible virus and it's taking more people every day. But hopefully over the coming weeks, the vaccine will actually do something and the numbers will go down. There's a glimmer of hope. The days are getting longer. It's getting less cold and hopefully less people will be dying, which is a positive, I guess, and if you can take anything away from what's going on at the moment. But anyway, moving back into the world of P Diddy, I decided to spend this afternoon doing a sort of crash course in everything P Diddy related at the moment. So I have some older P Diddy news and I have some like more recent P Diddy news. I will start with my favourite P Diddy news story of the last week. So P Diddy, he sent like a bunch of flowers and a bottle of wine to, I don't know, she worked for him or whoever. And the man has children's handwriting. And when I say children's handwriting, I mean like the man has never held a pen. It is, and the problem is this podcast is like, although on YouTube it's a visual media, hopefully right here, Dave, is where you can add the image of his really, really shitty handwriting. It's like a child wrote it. Apparently he was on a plane and they had bad turbulence, but like, bad turbulence doesn't last the entire plane journey. Just do it again. So I'm imagining that P Diddy just can't write.
But Dan, when you're as rich as P Diddy, you don't write with pens anyway. People do that for you. Maybe the pen was so heavy because it was like 24 karat gold that it was hard to like write with.
He might have had some hoes grinding on him. He couldn't. He was distracted by all the strippers grinding on him as he wrote his like thank you note. You know, that's what I imagine.
I'm looking at it now. It's like I understand the first two lines, and then it says "ever" really big, and then there's like hieroglyphics.
Maybe he rides planes like he rides motorbikes in the the music video to "I'll Be Missing You."
Possibly, it's really bad. One other thing, I have some nice P Diddy news. Do you want to hear some nice P Diddy news before I carry on taking the piss out of him? First of all, I like the fact that when you search P Diddy, it doesn't really come up with much because they now almost every news outlet refers to him as Diddy. So this is like a nice news story, but they still refer to him as Diddy, which makes me laugh. So Diddy is currently spending much needed quality time with his family amid the COVID-19 lockdown. In a recent interview, he admitted that he's not always been as present as he needed to be for his children over the years, but he realised that the lockdown gave him an opportunity to be with his kids more. Diddy, not P Diddy, Diddy is quoted as saying, "I'm not going to do a P Diddy impression, am I?"
No, you're
How
not.
How does P Diddy sound?
Like a racist stereotype, Dan, and you're not going to do it.
Okay, well imagine that I did and it was hilarious. Can we Photoshop my face, like P Diddy's face over mine, and have the mouth move? Is that possible?
No,
can we do that?
Not on our budget. That is not possible.
Okay. So, for me, my life got better because I was running myself into the ground and I wasn't taking enough time for my family and for myself. It's really been a blessing. The rapper shared that with his music industry icon, Clive Davis, I lost Kim. Kim was his wife. I think she was his ex-wife, but she's the mother to his children. She died in 2018 of pneumonia. I lost the mother of my children, and at that time the kids and I were together. It helped for me to make up for all those years I was on tour and to get closer for my family. It's been a blessing, and I'm using the time to become a better father and a better person. So I think we gave P Diddy a lot of love, but to be fair to P Diddy, we've just recorded an episode where I called out all the shitty celebrities and how shitty they have been during COVID. It sounds like P Diddy's one of the good ones, who's just like, yeah, I get to spend time with my family and I'm just going to shut the fuck up and not post stupid, shitty conspiracy theories or host a fucking podcast where I give a platform to morons. Joe Rogan.
Can I just undermine your sentiment slightly, Dan? I've just Wikipedia'd P Diddy, and I mean, he says he was lucky to get to see his family more because he was, working himself to death. He's done 4 albums.
Yeah, no, he doesn't really do albums. He doesn't really do music.
4 years, he's done 4 albums.
Yeah, we talked about that in our P Diddy episode. He's not really a rapper.
I'm astounded by that.
He
he's
makes
a producer, isn't he? Yeah.
Well, he's not even a producer. He makes clothes. He's very good at promoting things. Speaking of that, have you ever heard about his white parties?
Yes.
They are amazing. If I could go to any celebrity party. So I'm not quite sure if he still does them. I think they ran every year from 1998 to 2009, but I think he did have one in 2018. They're like Great Gatsby-esque. Like everyone dresses in white. Everything is white. And there's a brilliant video, a stripper caught on fire in one of them. They had a stripper in the bath, and she's doing her whole stripper thing. And there were some candles on the side, and her hair extensions catch on fire.
Oh my god.
So, not that it's funny watching a woman catch on fire, but P. Diddy's response was like, yeah, we have a lot of parties. Sometimes the women catch on fire. So... I'm sure you can probably find the link. She was okay as well. I did check when I was like, stripper caught on fire and I'm going to be making fun of it. Let's make sure she didn't get 3rd degree burns or die. No, she was fine. But yeah, I think you can follow her on Instagram as well. It got her extra Instagram followers because she became known as the stripper that caught on fire at one of P. Diddy's white parties. But yeah, they are legendary. Anybody who's anybody goes to them. And it's like a weird mixture of people. Like I was looking through some of the photos and it'll be like Oprah hanging out with Ashton Kutcher. It's just really bizarre. Like everybody used to go to them. It was all themed. He did them. They were like the Hamptons party that everybody wanted to go to.
If you went to a P Diddy's white party not in white, how much star power do you think you would need to have for him not to ask you to leave?
I couldn't find a picture of anybody not in white because I did.
No one's tried it.
So either no one's tried it or he has turned them away.
Yeah.
I think P Diddy has enough clout to just be like, no, I'm not. Like, fuck you, Kanye, turning up in your rainbow suit. Yeah, this is a white party, bitch. It would be Kanye. I could imagine Charlie Sheen doing it as well. Because I saw a lot of photos of Charlie Sheen there with big-breasted women.
I bet he's been banned from those parties anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, just taking it too far. See, my theory as to why they've stopped he stopped doing them, is that now everyone has camera phones. And I don't think that they, proper camera phones, not those old, shitty flip phones. And I think, it'd just be all over Instagram. And my imagination of what goes on at a P. Diddy white party is not as cool as what is actually going on at a P. Diddy white party.
Yeah.
My mind, imagined something that probably doesn't exist.
Lots of
networking. Yeah, it's probably quite boring.
Yeah.
Especially because they're all Americans, and Americans don't really drink properly. So, they'll all just be sat around with their big bottles of Cristal, taking photos of themselves, and that's about it. That's what I imagine, anyway.
I imagine they can't really do drugs either, because I imagine, every other person is a reporter.
Yeah.
That's ending up on every magazine front cover, obviously. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and there was loads of photos of it. There were loads of photos. It was weird as well. They'd have naked women as trapeze artists, just and then a shrimp bar next to it. It was really bizarre. I'm not quite sure who caters it, but it's it's just a weird setup. But yeah, that's one thing that. After I listened back to that episode, I was like, why didn't we talk about his legend? I talked about how he used to do these legendary parties in Miami, but I didn't talk about the white parties. One thing which actually Sean will do a bonus episode when COVID's done, I found an amazing board game. So it's called Put Your P. Diddy Knowledge to the Test. Do you want to hear the description? Yes. How well do you know Puff Daddy? No, Puff Diddy. Or is it P Puffy, the self-proclaimed king of New
None of
York
those.
and certified bad boy for life, has done some crazy-ass shit. And this true or false game sets you the task of separating the outrageous acts Diddy did from those that other rappers did. Warning, this rap game features bad boys, bongs and gangsters, and more true crime tales than a Netflix documentary.
Dan, is this real?
Yes, it's available on Amazon. It's only £10, so I don't want to really even say much more about it because I feel we should find it, and that there should be a bonus episode where we play it. I'll see if I can get some of that fake crystal that I got Dave when I last went to Italy. I shouldn't have said fake crystal because I could have pretended I got real crystal for the video. Yeah, but that's a bonus episode, definitely. I don't think it's officially licensed by him, but it does have a cartoon drawing of his face on the front, so you know.
I just looked through a list of pictures of people who were at the white parties, and one of the best ones is Booker Prize-winning author Salman Rushdie.
Oh, wow.
Who's there? Who would he have hung out with there? Was he there when the stripper caught fire? I don't know.
Yeah.
He was the one throwing the matches at her.
No, they were actually, the fire was meant for him.
Yeah.
Some Muslim extremists had broken in. They'd reignited the
They
fatwa.
were wearing white, so they got let in, you know?
Yeah. The fatwa got reignited. They were aiming for Salmon, but unfortunately the stripper got caught in the crossfire.
Oh, God.
That's probably going to be edited out.
Oh, you can keep it in, you know?
Oh, of course, Moby was there. I've just seen him.
Oh, fucking
I bet
hate
he wasn't
Moby.
invited.
Everyone hates Moby. He was Bowie's next door neighbour for a bit.
Yeah, he was. There's actually a live gig that was recorded that Bowie did, and Bowie's obviously doing a song. It's probably from like the Heathen era. And he gets a phone call on stage, and he just answers the phone. He's like, "I've just got a call from Moby."
Hello, Moby, you are my good friend. I am currently on stage. Do you want to do a shitty remix of one of my songs?
Yeah.
It's okay. Isn't it strange that every day I look more and more like Gary Oldman? Later era Bowie. Always entertaining. I want to go to a P Diddy white party. Can people post this to him, and if he likes it, I'll get invited?
Why did he stop doing them?
I don't know, maybe they just got boring. He's old now. Like, at a certain point, you've got so much money and you've done everything that you just get bored. That's my theory, anyway. P Diddy just got bored of, like, the opulent, over-the-top, like, parties.
He got bored of having fun.
What's he doing now? So obviously he's with his children, but what was he doing immediately prior to COVID? Was he just making clothes?
No, I mean, he has multiple business ventures. He's very behind the scenes, is P Diddy these days.
Isn't it?
Which I actually think is a good thing.
I just looked him up. His net worth is $740 million. I don't understand. I'm not aware of what he's doing. Right?
A very successful clothing line. We talked about his vodka in our episode. I don't think he has a share anymore in it, but he used to. Just multiple business ventures. Like, he's a pretty decent person, P Diddy. I mean, like, a lot of very successful celebrities, you peel back the layers and they're really shitty human beings, but P Diddy isn't one of them. I always say, and I think I've said this before on the podcast, if somebody has lots of friends, and I think I said this in the P Diddy episode, if someone has lots of friends and then they stop being famous and they've still got lots of friends, it means they're a good person. Like, there's plenty of really crap celebrities, like as in crap people, that once they lost their fame, everyone turned their back on them. But I don't think P Diddy's one of those. I think he's not famous like he used to be, but like apart from the whole Tupac beef, I've never heard of anybody really having that much of a problem with P Diddy.
Yeah.
I mean, Suge Knight has like said he's going to kill him a few times, but that's just part of the course, really. He just seems to want to kill everybody, or wanted to kill everybody. He's still alive, but he's in prison now. So, you know, we can say what I would have... Suge Knight is one of the few people I would have been scared to say something about. I'm not scared about talking about Salman Rushdie and his fatwa, but I am scared to talk about Suge Knight, because he seems like the sort of person who would, even during a lockdown, be able to get to me.
Well, we've talked about him now, so...
Yeah, but he's in prison. He's lost his power. He's supposedly blind these days, or so he claims to be. But I think that was so he could get released from prison. Like, I'm blind, you've got to release me. But then at the same time, if he's blind, why don't you just tell him he's released from prison? So, oh, you're not in prison anymore. You're in your mansion. Oh, am I? Cool. You know what I mean?
Why is this bullshit?
Yeah, just be like, oh, no, you're in. And then you'll find out if he's really fucking blind. Because if Suge Knight's like, this isn't my mansion, they'll be like, you're not blind, are you, Mr. Knight? But if he was like, yeah, this is my mansion, you're like, well, there might be something to this whole Suge Knight being blind thing. Just something to consider. Anyway, I think that's enough for the P. Diddy news, because as I said, there wasn't really much that was recent. But I kind of wanted to follow up, mostly so we can put it in the thumbnail and be like, hey, you liked the old P. Diddy stuff? Listen to Dan and Dave talk even more about P. Diddy.
Yeah, and if you want to hear us talk more, subscribe. If we get loads of likes and subscribes, we're going to have to talk about P. Diddy again, Dan, because we're going to have to follow the audience, do what they want us to do.